Yo, yo, what's good? What's good? All right, checking the mic. All right, we're good. We are live. Give me 1 second here, and we are back on. All right, so what's good? What's good? Like I know I've been MIA. I know I skipped a week, but I appreciate y'all. Still holding it down. And stay with me through all that. Welcome to yet another episode of the Men Like Us podcast. Today is going to be a solo show. The guys are, the guys got a lot of stuff going on. Life's happening. Hey, it's getting warmer out. We're having some good weather. People got shit to do. So I'm gonna run through a couple things. Right off top. If you're watching on Facebook, please share this live. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, help a brother out. If you have any ideas, comments, or concerns about the show, by all means, send us an email. menlikeuspodcast@gmail.com. Can't miss it. So, with that all out of the way, hold on, I haven't been watching the chats and I already started up. Oh, okay. What up? What up, L? Oh man, let's see. Okay, that's weird. I don't know what's going on over there in the comment section. But anywho, yeah, so the Men Like Us podcast is a podcast for men by men. It is aimed at men who are attracted to transgender women. But since it is a men's show, there's a lot of stuff in here for men. And that will also be the case today. So, something happened on Facebook. Let me check the date on this. Oh, fuck. Let me see if I can find it. Check the date on this damn thing. Oh yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I lost the I lost my bookmark here. So wow, yeah, it was about a week ago. About a week ago, you guys all know him, Corey, Librium Cortate on YouTube, but Corey Delano, who's normally on the show. Well, he's been on here quite a few times. He, made a public statement last week that really struck a chord with a lot of people, and I just really wanted to talk about it here. What kind of wanted to respond to it, react to it. Essentially, he posted that he is not interested in any women who are sex workers. So, he was very clear, like, hey, look, he doesn't want to date women who are OnlyFans girls, whatever. The thing about doing these YouTube channels and putting yourself out there is you get a lot of women contacting you from here and there. And, a lot of the guys that are out there doing this content, they're really looking for something meaningful, looking for a relationship. And, it's just, yeah, the people that come just aren't ready for that. They don't have the depth for it, whatever. So, I guess frustrated with his options, he was just like, fuck it, I'm going to be clear. Put it out there for the world to know. No OnlyFans girls, no sex workers. That is not his dating preference. And he got a lot of backlash from it. It got really ugly. And I think there's just a few takeaways from the whole incident. This man clearly and respectfully stated his dating preference of not wanting to date sex workers or OnlyFans girls. And, it came back with loads, and I mean loads of insults. It went from that to women telling him that he's a fake ally and that if he were a real ally, he'd be comfortable with dating sex workers, which, come on, really? It was, and I'm not gonna lie, it was mainly, OnlyFans girls dropping in there, upset that he would say, "Hey, I don't want this," and I will be completely, I won't be disingenuous about this. He did also assert that, he believed that you can't have a healthy relationship with one partner in sex work, and he doesn't believe that women who are involved in sex work can be in healthy relationships, or at the very least, the likelihood of that is lowered. And I have to be honest, I agree that the likelihood of a relationship working out if one of the people were in sex work or having sex with other people, probably, I mean, the likelihood of it not working out is high. Just say that much. And I have to be honest, the straight men that a lot of women in the transgender community say they want, you say you want straight men. Well, guess what? Straight men don't want to marry or typically don't even want to date women who are having sex with other people. I mean, that is just monogamy in itself. Monogamy is I only fuck you, you only fuck me, and that's it. It's an agreement. We're only having sex with each other. And it got super duper ugly. But what it really turned into as well was you just saw all these girls like reaching. They were like reaching for the one example that they knew. And I'm putting this out there, guys, because man, you have to understand how conversations go in this space, how disagreements, how stuff like this happens. And it was girls reaching for all these examples that they knew. Well, I know a girl, if she's in sex work and she has a healthy relationship, she's doing just fine. I know another girl who's in sex work and she's doing just fine. And it's just like all this, like they're just trying to disprove something that we all know is true. We all know it's true that, I mean, okay, women watching this show, women listening to this podcast, be real. You know way more girls involved in sex work who have dysfunctional sex and romantic lives than girls involved in sex work who have stable, healthy romantic lives. Like it's you know what it is, and you know what he's trying to avoid. Like, just be real with it. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. So, I really I could have told him what would have happened if he posted the damn thing, but another lesson from this situation is, men, when you step into this space and you're trying to live your truth and X, Y, and Z, and people are, oh yeah, he's a good guy, he's living in his truth, X, Y, and Z. Look, if you really don't know somebody, do not look to them for support. Do not look to them to be your friend. I'm sorry, but a lot of individuals in this space are not your friend. The moment you give them a reason to, they will turn on you and savage you. And it could be just you basically disagreeing out of nowhere. So that's really like just disagreements in itself turn into a reason to hit the nuclear button. But it just got really ugly. It was completely uncalled for how this guy was treated, how he's savage. And Corey has made certain sacrifices that a large majority of men have not made in terms of his career has been affected by this. Like a lot of us, he had to do the whole dealing with the family thing and have those conversations to help the family come along. But the man stated a preference. He's allowed to have a preference. Men are allowed to have standards. If a man says, hey, I don't want my woman having sex with everybody else, he gets to do that. And he's not a bad man if he doesn't want his girl to have sex with everybody else. That doesn't make him insecure. That just makes him a traditional individual who believes in monogamy. That's it. That is no detriment to him. That doesn't mean he's lesser or anything like that. That just means he's a man with a preference. Just like women have preferences, men have them too, and we're allowed to have these preferences and standards. So, when men come with these standards and say, yo, this is what I want, and you don't fall into it, the same with you guys. If a woman comes to the table and says, yo, this is what I want from a man, and you don't fall into what they want, just let it be. Everybody ain't for everybody. I get it. It stings. It hurts your ego to not fall into somebody's preferences, but you gotta take that one on the chin. Everybody ain't for everybody, and you can't get offended when somebody clearly states their preferences and you don't fall within that. You can't get offended at that shit, and you can't lashing out at the person. Come on. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, I think this is just something that men and women, period, and a lot of the themes that we talk about in these relationships and stuff, or these kind of dating preferences and stuff, this does extend beyond the trans space. This is general. This is general as hell. So, yeah, I just feel like we got to do better. We got to do better. We have to accept that we're not for everybody. Not everybody is everybody's flavor. And the girl that is in sex work, your guy's gonna come. And the guys that are looking for girls who aren't in sex work, your girl is gonna come. It's you'll be fine. Just keep putting in the work on yourself, building yourself up, and that right person will come along. But I just had to bring it up because I thought it was absolutely ridiculous, but kind of par for the course. And I think it's something that men should be aware of. If you're going to be in this space, if you're going to date women in the trans community, if you're going to have a bunch of friends on Facebook and Instagram or whatever else, we live in an age where if somebody disagrees with you, you are the enemy. Be ready to be the bad guy. Be ready to be called a chaser. Be ready to be called whatever, all the negative names in the book. And they're going to throw it all at you. And they could be somebody you're like, dang, I thought they was cool. Not really. They're not really your friend. You can't count on folks. So, it's people can be fickle. You just have to understand that that is the way things work so that, when things do go sideways, you didn't have the wrong expectations in the first place. You jump in a Facebook group and you say something that some people don't agree with. Hey, it's cool. Y'all weren't friends anyways. It is all good. You ain't never met none of these people. You ain't talked to them. It is what it is. So, I just had to cover that because, I really felt for my mans, but it's just one of those things that we kind of have to watch and take note of and understand that, hey, we're in this space, but not everybody in this space really respects us. Not everybody in this space believes we should have a voice. We should have opinions and preferences and dating centers and all this stuff. So, that's all I had to say on that one. Obviously, this segment would have taken a lot longer. Maybe somebody else chiming in, but I think my main man Mike is on it. Guys don't typically want to date a girl who's in sex work unless he's a cuck or he's interested in he's interested in this girl being fucked by other people. But that doesn't mean, and I really want to be clear about this. This doesn't mean men listening to this. This doesn't mean that women who are involved in sex work are worthless and they don't deserve happiness and they're the worst people on the planet. Absolutely not. Whether trans women are in sex work or not, they still deserve all the respect in the world from us as men outside of the dating situation. This all has to do with just dating. That's it. Nothing else. Dating. So, hold on a second. Nicole, are you speaking about accepting someone's past? We're talking about current. We're talking about current. So to kind of recap for the people joining in on the stream, sorry folks listening on the podcast, gonna have to reset for this one. My friend Corey, who has been on this show, stated a preference on Facebook that he is not interested in dating a woman who is involved in sex work. If you have an OnlyFans page, stay out of his DMs. He's tired of spending time talking to girls only to find out that they are either prostitutes or OnlyFans girls. So, this isn't about accepting someone's past. I fully co-sign on that. If a girl is not currently doing it and she's able to honor, the agreement of monogamy, then, go for it. Like, don't be insecure about her past. Like, she's with you now. She chose you. She didn't choose that other shit. She chose to leave that other shit and be with you. So, I would definitely put that out there. I would never co-sign any message that says never excuse anybody's past. Ain't nobody perfect out here. Ain't nobody perfect. So, all of that. So, the second thing I wanted to talk about on the show today really was, this is going to be a quick one, y'all. I kind of got some stuff to do. But so there's a man in Washington D.C. Goes by the name of Black Pharaoh. Black Pharaoh posted on his Instagram earlier this week. Trans women are women. He posted it on his own Instagram page. He does advertise for his own local business. He runs a CBD shop in in the DC area. So essentially, what happened was, he put this out there. He got a lot of backlash, a lot of people upset, saying no, those are women, those are men. You're disrespecting women, and you on that gay shit, bro. What the fuck, X, Y, and Z. Like got pretty ugly. But what was even uglier was the fact that on a day that would typically be a busy day for him at his CBD store, nobody came. He put out a post supporting trans women, and he lost all of his business. If in fact he had customers going to the competitor and mouthing off to the competitors, yeah, I don't go to that guy over there. He's on some gay shit, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. And I'm gonna patronize you now. I'm not going back over there. Which is absolute fucking trash, and it is awful that we live in a world where that is the consequence. But that can be the consequence, So I would caution the men, out there who want to stand up for what's right. Understand that there may be consequences, and the consequences may be professional, depending on how you do this. So really, when I sit here and talk about, hey, men, live in your truth, stop being DL, all of these things, I typically am talking about your inner circle. Don't stop living a double life. Stop lying to the people who are closest to you. Be your authentic self. Don't be afraid of people leaving you and dropping you or anything like that. So, that's typically what we're talking about here. Going into your job is because, people do get this mixed up. Like, oh, well, you want men to not be DL. Well, that's going to be consequences on their life. And it's like, yeah, but in what way? Because really, people at your job, people at your business, it ain't none of their fucking business who the fuck you date or how the fuck you live your life. Those are people you work with. That's it. And if they happen to be your friends, maybe you can have that conversation if you wanted to. If you wanted to, that's your decision. Give me a second. Let me clear this down. Oh, sorry, there's notifications popping up. So, it's really one of those like, hey, being open doesn't mean you're running around shouting it from the hills or anything like that. But living in your truth is living in your truth, being yourself, your authentic self, especially with the people in your inner circle, your friends, your siblings, your family, all the people that's in proximity to you. But I would say, know your audience. If you are working in a field where that may not be, advantageous to you, then just keep it to yourself, because really, it ain't none of their fucking business anyways. It ain't. And for the people that say, "Oh, but Corey," well, Corey had a YouTube channel. Not all guys who are living in their truth, who are comfortable with their own sexuality, who are comfortable with their girlfriends being transgender. A large majority of them do not have a YouTube channel or do any of this kind of stuff that I'm doing right now. Typically, there's just going to be regular Joes doing their thing, maybe chatting it up in the Facebook groups or whatever, but it ain't going to be anything like this. So, the guy, Black Egyptian, he is not a YouTuber, but I will share his Instagram account with you all, because I would love for you to follow him on Instagram and support him. So let me get that pulled up here for y'all real quick, because I would love to do that. Let me pull it up. Sorry. And for those listening on audio podcast platforms, on Instagram, it is at black_Egyptian_DC. So this is the page. This is the guy. And this is the post. Let me see where the post is. This is the post right here. So this is the post that he put up. And it got ugly. It got ugly. I'm not gonna lie, I had to call in the cavalry, hit some people up that I knew, like, hey, we need to get in on this post and offer a counterbalance because this is some bullshit. You should not be you should not be shit on in this way. And for him, it's like it's not about getting shit on online. Like, yeah, he was kind of caught off guard, maybe a little hurt by it, but this man is running a small business. His customer base was like, fuck you. You support the trans community. You validate that trans women are women. Fuck you. We're going to take our money elsewhere, which is absolute crap. And, it's definitely trash that he had to go through that. And, if you live in the DC area, by all means, support this man. I'm sure his location is on the Instagram account somewhere, because I don't have the address for his business, so I can't actually lead you to it. But yeah, he's got hours, store hours, and all that stuff. But yeah, he does CBD, and yeah, you can definitely follow him on Instagram. He also does, he also does like some radio show stuff and all that kind of junk. So there is definitely that. But I just wanted to put that out there, put that in the ether. If you can, get on Instagram and support this guy. It is at black_Egyptian_DC_ after the DC. Sorry if I messed that up earlier. So black_Egyptian_DC_. So here it is one more again. I don't know if y'all can see it on such a tiny screen, but that's what it is. That's him. Get on there, follow him, support him. I think it's absolutely trash that this man, stepped up and, did what he thought was right, which was support a group of individuals who are marginalized, who need support and need for people to rally behind them. He did what he thought was right, and he suffered consequences that he shouldn't have suffered. So I talked to the man, really dope guy, very positive individual. So I really do hope that things turn around for him and people start patronizing his business again, start walking through the door. Because last time I talked to him, it was, let's just say that, it could greatly affect his life if, this thing doesn't turn around. Like with all small business owners, they're wholly dependent on this business happening or being successful. So, I would love women and men, anybody who's listening to this, if you're in the DC area, find this guy, patronize his business, throw him a couple bucks, help just be a customer, help his business survive this whole controversy. He lost quite a bit of followers on Instagram, like people were leaving in droves. And it was a very negative reaction. So, I believe this man did what's right, and hopefully, that good will come back to him. That's all I can really hope for. So, and really, for all the men out there who want to stand up and stand up and voice their opinions, by all means, do it. Just all I'm saying is the bare minimum to not be in DL, in my mind, is just being truthful and honest with the people in your inner circle and not being afraid for anybody in the general public to find out. It's the fear of somebody finding out and the forcing of the trans woman that you're dealing with to keep your secrets. That's absolutely what we don't want. So we're encouraging you to work on yourselves, men, and be better than that. But in this case, there were drawbacks for this man when he involved his business. So I would not recommend anybody do that specifically. I would recommend that as a social media expert. You have a personal page and a business page. Your personal page, you can do say whatever you want to. In your business page, you represent your brand and you don't bring politics, religion, any of that kind of stuff into it. So, maybe celebrate Pride Month and all that stuff like all the rest of the businesses, but, secure the bag first and always. So, there is that side of it as well. Because I don't want anybody to be like, oh yeah, Chris is telling all these men to be shout from the rooftops and wear the t-shirts and do all this and do all that. Some people choose to do that, and I support them. But not everybody has to. That's not everybody's lane. So, anywho, yes, by all means, one last time, follow this guy on Instagram. It is at black_Egyptian_DC_. And if you live in the DC area, go support them. Just show up to the shop, support them. Because, we need men to be encouraged to support the community and do what's right. There should be some positive feedback in that shit. So do what you can. I know I don't have the biggest following in the world, but the people that are on, help the brother out. Show some support. Sorry, I haven't been really paying attention to the comments. So let me catch up to the comments before we wrap on the show. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. Michaela, I don't know. I'm sorry. Here we go. Oop. So Michaela asks, why do you think some men can come out as trans attractive and women in the community totally support them totally? But most men come out as trans attractive and the women of the community attack them. Well, I mean, just off the top of my head, there is no one answer for every single groupings of women in all the community, such a diverse community. All I can say is one of the things that is definitely at play is, hey, look, if you're sexually attracted, if you find the person who's delivering the message attractive, you're just more likely to pay attention to them. Take them seriously. That's just what it is. That's the way life works. That's how people like Derek Jackson were able to do what they did. So I know that's a piece of it. That's one of the reasons. But I think a lot of it also just has to do with, like, I'm gonna just be real. Just there are, due to their own experience or the experience of people that they know, there are a group of women in the trans community that just flat out don't like men, don't have respect for men. It's just a mess. So, a man wants to live in his truth and wants to, be in proximity to the community and look for support there. He's probably not going to find it because, through experiences related to sex work and, other dating experiences or whatever experiences, look, a lot of women have a bad taste in their mouth about men. And I can't say all of it is, undeserved. I can't say that. What I can say is that it is undeserved for that specific man to pay for the sins of individuals he's never even met. So I do know that one, but I just think it has a lot to do with the girls themselves. There are some women who are ready and mentally ready, and they've done the work on themselves to come through some shit, and they're not so hateful, not so adversarial when it comes to men, and they're actually looking to pair with men and join with men and see the value of men. It takes work. I know it sounds crazy, but there are women that are looking for love. They want to be loved, but they don't even know the value that a man brings. They don't even know what a man brings to the table. Like, I love women. You don't have to tell me what a woman brings to the table, how a woman can make my life better. I know what women bring to the table. I know the value they have outside of their bodies, outside of sex, outside of their careers, outside of all that, surface level bullshit. I know women have value, and I need women. I need a woman. And I know that there are women out there that understand that women need men too. So, I just think it's the reason why some girls don't accept men coming, showing up and living in their truth and all that. They got a lot of issues with men and they have to work on that shit. They got a lot going on. And, at where they're at in life, they don't have space for it. They just don't have space. At least that's my opinion. Those are my thoughts. Um, but, obviously there are some men who frankly deserve to be treated like shit because they ain't about shit. So, but obviously in this example, we're, talking about men who are coming with good intentions and who are not sowing violence and negativity into the space. So, so I'm just going down these questions and comments. Why do the girls of the community expect y'all to deal with them being sex workers? I don't know. All I can say is it's okay. What I can say is it seems like to me that there are women in the transgender community who are happy to perpetrate the same patriarchy that they preach against on men, the same level of control and bullshit double standards that they complain about on men. So it's like at some point you've decided to mimic your quote oppressors and enact the same toxic bullshit behaviors and beliefs and just push that back on the men that want to deal with you. So yeah, there are women, and they've commented on the show, they've been here on the show. There are women who do truly believe that they should be allowed to have sex with other men for pay, while their men only have sex with them. So obviously that's bullshit, and no man should ever agree to that. And I have to be honest, guys, if you agree to that shit, like that's not good. Alex says that's not good. I wouldn't even can't even begin to understand that. But yeah, LG Jim says it all just seems to stem from pain. Absolutely, it's Coco. We women are broken and find ways to lash out. Fair or not, completely agree. Completely agree. I mean, it just happens. And men, we have to know that that's what we're walking into. All of this stuff with this show is like, oh, I'm trying to help y'all understand what you're walking into. A lot of guys have no idea what they're walking into when they begin dealing with the trans community. They, along with the help of maybe certain women who push them to this conclusion, they come in with a very simplistic idea of how things are supposed to go and how people are going to act. And it's a complicated space full of a lot of people with a lot of problems and a lot of shit that happened to them. And their response to you has everything to do with the shit that they went through, and a lot of times has nothing to do with anything that you have actually done to them. So yeah, you're starting off on the wrong foot, not because of anything you did, but because something that somebody else did. Oh, that man, that chaser, that I hate straight men. I hate these men. Whatever. You're not, just let the disrespect and all that shit bounce right off of you. When you adjust your expectations, you don't have any issues. You don't have any issues. So, go in with the expectation that, yeah, a lot of these girls don't have positive outlooks on men. A lot of them don't respect men on a base level, and that's just what the fuck you got to deal with. It's okay. You just got to understand to not take everything so fucking personally and just keep it moving. Yeah, it's gonna sting. Yeah, it's gonna seem unfair, but this is what it is. So, and I have to be honest, there are just certain, look, I love the community as a whole. I do certain things out of love for the community and women in the community. I have done things to help the community that y'all don't even fully know about behind the scenes. I've done things that have the ability to affect the lives of all trans people. Period. I don't even know about it, but I show up, I support, and I do what I can to make the world a better place because that's what I believe to be right. So, like, show up with all that, and when these people show up with their disrespect and bullshit, it's not gonna affect you. Just I don't take them seriously. I love the community, but I can't take everybody in the community seriously. You don't deserve, not everybody deserves me and to have access to me and my feelings and be in proximity to me in a way that they can affect me. So, do I take everybody seriously? Absolutely not. There are people I just dismiss. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, you're kind of a low quality person. So, I expected that from you and I did not expect more. So, thank you for meeting my expectations. So, you're not a bad guy. If there are just people you just don't think a whole lot of, it's okay. You can disagree with trans women. You can have a low opinion of individual trans women. It's just fine. We are all people. You don't have to be happy, laughy with everybody to be an advocate, to be an ally. You don't have to say everything that everybody likes to be an ally or advocate, whatever else. Like, that's not how this works. It's not real. Yeah, people will tell you you're not a real ally, you're not a real advocate, just like what Corey saying earlier. The man had a dating preference that has nothing to do with the work that he is doing to help out men and second and indirectly help out a lot of the women that these men will be dealing with. So, helping to remove the stigma with this YouTube channel. That's what I'm doing with this too. We're not hiding anymore. I'm sorry. Most men are hiding, but there are those of us that are willing to stand up and put our voices out there and put our faces on the internet. So, Sharonda, absolutely couldn't agree more. It begins with loving oneself. And I need to go all the way back. Let's. Okay, let's see. Because they hide behind their inability to attain any other line of work and feel justified as being accepted as any other girl. I mean, look, we are in a, and this is not just a trans community thing, even though it is present here, it's present elsewhere also. Look, sex work is being glamorized at this point. This whole OnlyFans sex work conversation is a part of the mainstream conversation when it comes to dating. And, I really do feel bad for the men, the young guys out there, guys in their 20s trying to date these young girls who are on OnlyFans and racking up crazy amounts of body counts and having their naked body all over the internet and shit. Like, I feel bad for these guys because that's what they have to choose from when it comes to, finding a wife. And that's awful. There was a question here. I'm going to get through these and then we're going to wrap it up. Michaela, question from Michaela. Lastly, why do the trans community call me a pick me because I got married to a trans attractive man? Yeah, I think Brianna hit the nail on the head. Brianna says, Michaela, it's called jealousy. Absolutely. So, I mean, look, for what you did, whatever it took to get what you wanted and you got it, and certain people just aren't willing to do what it takes to get the results that they just want the results. I shouldn't have to give up sleeping with other men to get married and have a storybook wedding and have this man who treat me and sacrifice for me and all this stuff. I shouldn't have to give that up. That's what they say. They don't want to give up. They don't want to do what it takes to get the results. So, they're not achieving apparently, but I mean, that's not everybody. I know it's not everybody, but it is what it is. Just jealousy all day. And, what is Sharonda saying? Sharonda says, you love yourself and do the work. There's a possibility of loving and finding a partner. Absolutely. So, men, that's just the world we live in. There's a lot of people who don't love themselves. They're not doing the work on themselves. And, that they just turn into really dark individuals who want to do nothing but sow negativity. And that's kind of just the way the world is. And it's even present here. So when you're interacting with women in the community, you kind of have to understand that, there are some really dark, negative people, and they're going to throw that negativity towards you and try to dim your light. They're going to try to negatively affect you, and don't let them. Don't let them. Just don't give them that power. Just let it go. So, oh, Brianna. Oh wow, these guys are starting rolling. Yes, like the longer I stream, the more people tune in, and it just keeps spiraling out of control. Brianna says everybody has the right to have the preference. Winning a tall man that makes six figures is a preference, but it's not realistic for most of these women. Realistic for my girlfriend, 6'3", six figures. But yeah, so I had to put that one out. Brianna says key work, you're married and they're single and miserable. Keyword, right, absolutely. Um, and Mike, but a boy, uh, I bet they feel like they deserve Michaela Man and not Michaela. That's possible. LG Jim, I think it's not going to change until trans women see themselves reflected as something other than sex workers at large. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I totally get that line of thinking. You know, you can't you gotta see it to be it in a lot of cases. You know, there's a lot of people who are oppressed, who are in situations where they're not seeing anybody around them be successful, and then they don't think they could be successful, so that what they think is possible for their life is just severely limited because they don't know it can be better. They're not seeing anybody do it better. So, you know, I totally get that, you know. And that is this right here is a problem with, you know, mass media. Mass media creates a lot of unhealthy stereotypes across the board. And it also doesn't help that a lot of, let's just say, men are introduced to, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. There was a time where a lot of men were introduced to trans women as sex workers, but now transgender is like, this is mainstream conversation now. This isn't guys just, oh, I came into it through porn. No, it's like, oh, yeah, I saw somebody on TV or I watched a news segment or I watched a conversation on CNN and I'm learning this way. And I'm, you know, it does definitely, there's a lot more opportunity for people to see trans women as different and approach them differently. Because for a while it was all porn and sex work, and that's how these men would engage with trans women in a very sexual way. So I totally see that. Um, oh, and hey, Bella, and then Nova says, right, I feel the same way. I want to be able to create change and bring positive energy. Absolutely. Like, I believe our job is as adults is to do whatever we can to make this world a better place than what we found. So, you know, change some hearts and minds and make things easier for everybody. And last but not least, Michaela, she's going to close us out. I think it has gone back because of OnlyFans and the feel the girls have the stereotype as freaky. Um, I feel you. I feel you on that. You know, I think I've told this, I mentioned this on the show before. I think so. But, you know, it's being in, I actually, my friend D got me curious to check out Clubhouse once again. And it's just like, you got these young girls on there and they're just like talking about bullshit. And, you know, and then we had this young girl on there. She was 24, not going to name her. But, you know, it was just her bringing it here, like, actively tell men that, or she was telling a group of men, it was a group of us in there. And she was like, yo, sex work is a rite of passage in the trans community. That's a part of our experience. And I'm just like, that's awful that you being a young woman feel like this is a part of your culture and this is a rite of passage instead of it being something that people in your community are driven to do to oppression and something that you would rather not do. This is like no, to be trans is to do this, and I'm doing this because it's a rite of passage. I get to be a real trans woman now. And it was just fucking awful. So, I mean, there are individuals who think that, and, you know, there's nothing you can really do about it. You know, Michaela, from what I understand, the young girls don't listen to the older girls. So I don't even know how to create that change. I don't have any suggestions on that, but men listening to this, I hope you took something away from any of the things I brought up or some of the comments here. But it's just real discussion. I'm just saying some real shit. People in the comments saying real shit and just sharing their thoughts. And okay, Mike is the last one for this time. Mike says, I heard girls say to be authentically trans, you have to do sex work. And that's not the only place. Like I've heard that personally, but a lot. If you hang around enough, you'll hear somebody say that. And I've actually had you know women I've dated tell me that, oh yeah, well, the community I don't really fit into the community because I don't sex work, and I'm not feeling as accepted. And girls would tell me, no, you can't work for this organization. You shouldn't even be doing. Why are you even here? You shouldn't even be doing this. You ain't sex work. You're not one of us. You ain't been through this. You ain't been through that. And it's just like, it's awful. It's bad. It's the negative side of the community. But obviously, I don't want to dwell on the negative side, but it is just something to be aware of, guys, that these things are here, but these things don't have to be the entirety of your experience. Just be aware that this is here. There are a lot of great, amazing women in this community who deserve respect, who deserve to have their gender expression validated, and who don't deserve for lawmakers to make laws against them, for lawmakers for them to be discriminated against through legislation. So it is it's a mess. And yes, Coco, he was on there with me. Yeah, Clubhouse is angry trash. It is absolutely trash. I spent some time yesterday trying to help people understand that that transgender athletes, there is no epidemic of transgender athletes taking over everything and eliminating spaces for women since, and actually I come with the facts and the data, according to the NCAA, trans athletes only account for 0.006% of all college athletes across the country at all three levels of the NCAA. 0.006. Like, no, there is no epidemic. It's not a big deal, but there are people with these theories, and they want to get other folks riled up, and it's just like we got to look at the facts. So those are the things that kind of happen in a lot of these conversations. So yeah. What was this? Oh. Okay. Bella says, I am not a sex worker, but I'm not against it. Lots of trans attractive men like you be on the DL, so take their money. So trans attractive men like me are not DL. Trans attractive men like me live in their truth. DL trans attractive men are DL, but they are not like me or any of the men that I've had on my show. So this is definitely not a space where we are giving safe haven to DL men and all of that stuff. Got you. Not like me. I'm sorry, she corrected. Not like me. Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. It's hookup culture is a thing, and if these guys are just showing up looking for sex and a girl wants to charge them, okay, I guess so. Whatever. Like, live your life, do your thing. Like everybody's entitled to do what you want to do. And but if a guy said, hey, I want relationship, and I think and I'm starting to like you, but you're involved in taking money for sex, probably not gonna be interested anymore if he finds that out. So just be aware. But appreciate everybody tuning in today and checking out the show. Sorry I didn't have a guest on today. The fellas is mad busy out here. So Bella, I appreciate you coming in and chatting on the show. Same for Michaela, Coco, G Mike, Sharonda. Oh, wait, did I say that right? Nicole, Nova, LG, Brianna. No, I said Brianna already. Yeah, Sharonda, Appreciate y'all coming through and just chilling with me for this afternoon. We'll be back at this another weekend.